Sorry to change things up on you folks. Dave and I had switched. We're going to be at a family reunion next weekend, so we had switched, but it didn't make its way to the bulletin or whatnot. So it's good to be with all of you here today. I'm a little bit taller than Tony. One, it's very good to be here. I'll be honest with you. It's just actually very good to be here with you guys. You know, in the 1990s, Mike Tyson, I know you don't know where I'm going yet, but I'll get there. Mike Tyson was making a way through boxing at the time in the 90s where he was destroying everybody he fought. And not just like beating them, but I think it was 33 in a row where he would win boxing matches in less than a minute. And he was famously quoted once when one of his opponents was talking about right before a match that, you know, the opponent's talking about, I got a plan how I'm gonna beat him. You know, here's what I'm gonna do. And he kind of detailed out his plan. And a reporter went to Mike Tyson and told him this, and he famously responded, everybody has a plan until they get hit. 2 weeks ago, at this exact moment, I was sitting inside of a CT scanner trying to see whether or not I had a bleed in my brain. They were trying to figure out whether or not I just had a stroke. I didn't. But I was sitting in there because 3 hours before I got hit. And I get hit really hard, I'll be honest with all of you here, and that's why it's really great to be back with you today. But I took a hit. And what I had been planning on the day after flying to camp with my children, Steph was going to be flying to California that week for a work trip, and all the plans that I had and all the plans that we had as a family, honestly, at that time went out the window. And our plans went away. And when I got hit, everything changed. Now I'm back with you here now, but that day I didn't know if I would be. Because at 10:30 in the morning that day, as I was reaching over my couch to pick up a shirt, my hand twitched. And I thought that was weird. And then in the matter of seconds, my entire hand did this, and then my wrist flexed like this, and my elbow, and my entire arm went into, imagine if you've ever had a muscle spasm, a Charlie horse, that intense contraction in one muscle, my entire right side did that. And my whole body flexed, and I fell to the ground, and I started rolling onto my right side because my entire right side's flexing like this. I remember all of this. My son was right next to me, my daughter was in the room as well, and Liam recognizes something's wrong, and he starts yelling, Dad, Dad, are you okay? And I'm thinking to myself, no, nothing is okay right now. And I try to yell back, call 911, but all that came out was gibberish. In my head, I'm yelling as loud as I could that you need to call. And a lot of things started going through my head at that moment. Unfortunately, I'm in healthcare, and so I go to the worst because I've seen sometimes the worst. Two thoughts popped into my head. Well, first of all, I thought I was having a stroke. My left side was fine. Nothing was happening on my left side. My entire right side was contracted like you would basically in a stroke. And I'm thinking to myself, because when in 2004, I spent a long time on the neuro team at Methodist Hospital when I was going through my clinical work. And a 30-year-old that has a stroke, well, I'm 38, a 38-year-old who has a stroke doesn't usually have a good one. It's not one you usually recover from. And I saw some really bad cases those years when I was there. And so in a matter of 9 seconds that I will never forget in my entire life, 9 seconds that seemed to drag on for about 15 minutes where I was still conscious, I had two thoughts. I thought, one, I should have taken better care of myself. I should have maybe taken my blood pressure, because at this point I'm thinking I'm stroking out, and so I'm thinking to myself I should have taken better care of myself. The second thing I thought was I wish I would have been a better person, because I didn't think I was going to make it past that day. And if I did, I didn't think I was ever going to walk again or be the same person I ever was. Now I'm lucky. At that point, after thinking those things for what felt like an eternity, I passed out. My daughter went upstairs and grabbed my wife. She came downstairs and found me on my hardwood floors, bleeding from the mouth because I chewed my tongue up so much it looked like hamburger meat. Flexed completely on my right side, rolling around. My eyes were open, but nobody was home. And for 15 minutes, that's how she saw me, and my kids did as well. When I finally came to 20 minutes later, there were 5 EMTs in my living room, and I didn't remember a thing. And they're all looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, why are you looking at me this way? I'm just taking a nap on my hardwood floors here at the base of the stairs. Why are you all here? And Steph's like, no, Ryan, we could not revive you. And I reluctantly and grudgingly said, fine, you can take me to the hospital. I don't know why, I'm just taking a nap. I was completely out of everything that was going on. Halfway to the hospital, on a back road in Danville, Indiana, I remember taking a right turn, I'm watching out the back, all my memories came back to me. And I'm like, oh, that's not a good thing. And I'm wheeled into the emergency room soon after that. Doctor kind of says, we're going to get you into a CT right away. They take a picture. I don't have a bleed. But then he comes back in, very nice guy, fairly young, and he sits there talking to me. He goes, well, that all looks fine. But I'll be honest with you, at your age, the number one reason why somebody has a seizure like this, and the type I had, where it was affecting only one side, is a brain tumor. And we're going to need to do an MRI to rule that out. And we can't do that today. You're going to have to go home. You're stable now. And so for 2 days, all the plans that I had were getting changed. And so instead of thinking about hiking and at camp with my children and counseling a bunch of 6, 7, 8, and 9-year-olds, and maybe I was being relieved by not having to do that, was taken out. I'm instead trying to figure out, do we have enough life insurance? And if it is what we're thinking about, do we need to fly down to Durham, North Carolina? Because Duke Medical Center is the number one place if you're going to have a brain tumor surgery. That's where you want to go. And those are the type of conversations our family started having. Now, luckily, on Monday, I had an MRI that week, and it's not any of that. And at this point, the prevailing thought is we don't know what it was. It was likely a fluke. It could have been the Taco Bell I had the day before. And that horse meat that they served me just did not react. My brain said, nope, and we're checking out. But all my plans seem to have changed. Now, I'm very grateful to be standing here in front of all of you today. I'm still a little bit tired, or we still don't know why this happened. But I guess I'm lucky enough that I get to stand here, and I figure you all have asked me the story, so I was going to tell the story anyways. That way now you all I don't have to tell it 100 more times of what happened 2 weeks ago to me. But obviously it's changed me. It's changed our family. And it's started to focus things a little bit better because I come back to those two things I thought about. And a third lesson that I've learned since then. And first, wanting to take better care of myself, and I think I need to do a better job with that. But two, wishing I'd been a better person. And in thinking about that, it's made me realize a sense of humility. Those of you who have known me for a long period of time realize I'm not one who's short for self-confidence. Yeah, thank you. But when you go through an event like that, and when you start reading the prayer requests that go out each week that Mr. Bornhorst says, and you start seeing your own name on there, you start to realize something's a little bit different. But more than anything, you realize, the third lesson, I would say the most important thing, is the power of empathy. And that is a powerful thing. The love and support that I've gotten from all of you, the prayers that have been sent up, that day, the phone calls, the text messages, the Facebook posts, and then within a few days, what started coming in the mail through letters has been more than I ever could have imagined. And I'm an individual who, unfortunately, over time has probably become hardened and calloused and even complacent. Because we're a church that's gone through numerous tragedies over the past couple of years, aren't we? And many of you sitting out there have gone through health issues and family trials that are way worse than anything I'm going through now. And it's really sometimes easy to start not putting that into perspective and start thinking there's just so much of it. Because if you open up your bulletin right now, the third page, the entire third page is prayer requests. And my name's on there still. And that's a sobering thing to realize, but you start to realize now, as somebody who's gone through that, how much it means when someone reaches out to you. And a family member, and a church member, and a former patients call you, and they let you know that they're praying for you, is a powerful thing. And I say it's been easy for me, and I'll speak for myself, and it's been easy for me to become complacent over the years and not realizing how much other people are going through. But when you go through something yourself, you really start to realize how much and how big of a deal it is. So please do not let up praying for people, recognizing the hurt and the pain and the suffering that members of our congregation are going through, and how much more they need it than ever, probably, and how much we cannot forget that. Whether it's emotional or physical pain or it's sickness, we are a people that need each other, and we are a supportive people, and we are a people that need to be kind of helped up from all that. I've gotten a lot of cards in the mail. I've been very blessed. There have been two that have stood out very much to me. One was from a friend of mine who, instead of being nice, he decided to appeal to my Scottish side and just said flat out, you're not allowed to have any more seizures or seizure-like activities, and if so, I will fine you $50 per episode. So there's that tack. But I got another card from an individual, and many people said many wonderful things, but one that hit me really, really well. If you turn to Isaiah 43, I'd like to read from Isaiah today. Because Isaiah was talking to a group of people in Isaiah 43, and this is actually God talking to them through his prophet Isaiah, a people who were hurt, and a people who had been beaten down, and a people who had needed some hope. and they had needed some help. In Isaiah 43, God speaking through his prophet, and we'll start in verse 1, tells them, "But now thus says the Lord who created you, O Jacob, and he who formed you, O Israel, I have called you by your name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, nor shall the flames scorch you. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. I gave Egypt for your ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for your place. Since you were precious in my sight, you have been honored, and I have loved you. Therefore I will give men for you, and people for your life. Fear not, for I am with you. I will bring your descendants from the east and gather you from the west. I will say to the north, give them up, and to the south, do not keep them back. Bring my sons from afar, and my daughters from the ends of the earth, everyone who is called by my name, whom I have created for my glory. I have formed him. Yes, I have made him." He calls us by our name, and he tells us not to fear. We are his people. We will go through times of trial. We will go through times of trouble. We will go through times where we may not think we're ever going to get back up and stand again. But we're told not to fear because he is with us. And if the waters are too deep, he will help us to get through them. But we all know we won't make it till the end. We all know we're not going to live forever. Our humanity means we are not eternal beings at this time. One day something will overcome all of us. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. But what he's saying here is not that fear not because I will make everything right in this world. Fear not because I will make everything right forever. Fear not because you and your people who I have called, and your sons and your daughters, and all of you I will redeem back. From the north, south, east, and west, I will bring you back, and I will establish my kingdom. Because God has a plan still. And no amount of punching is going to keep him from keeping his plan. His plan will stand the test of time, it will stand the test of trials, and nobody is going to be able to knock that plan off. His plan is eternal, and it is a plan for each and every one of you. And it's a plan that allows us not to fear no matter what happens, no matter what trial we go through, and no matter what will become us in this day. Because the future age that he talks about, where he will bring all of us back together, those who have been here before and those who will be here in the future, that's his plan. And that's why we don't fear. And that is what we look forward to. And that is a plan that will never be stopped. No matter who punches, how hard, or what we go through, that plan will always be there. That's humbling. That is something that we can hang our hat on, and we know that he has called us by his name, and no matter what, he will be with us. And even if something really bad happens to us, that's not the end. There's a future for all of us that's what we look forward to. And it's become more real in my life of lately, and if it's something I can share with you, I figure that's the case. So in closing up, perspective is an interesting thing. So to all of you tonight, if you have somebody that you love, hug them tonight when you go home. Whoever they are, don't let a day go by where that's not the case. And if you know someone that's struggling, make sure you keep praying for them. And not only that, let them know. It means more than you would imagine when you hear people say that to you. And if you're the one struggling yourself, remember that God, though, has a plan for us. And no matter what deep waters we're going through, he has a plan that will not change, that involves all of us who are called in his name.